Well, hello there.
Hi, I don't know if I've ever met you directly.
I am Ben.
I'm Jen.
Nice to meet you, Jen. How are you doing?
Good. I'm friends with Wendy.
With who?
Wendy. I think she's your cousin.
Oh, Wendy is my cousin. Yeah, Wendy and Debbie are my cousins. Because. Well, we will. Oh, here's some other people joining. Wait for Wendy. She should be showing up, I guess. I mean, Debbie.
All right, good morning, everybody. This is welcome to our Friday Builder Call. And I thank you for taking time out of your day to be here. I was just listening to something as I cleaned up my kitchen that was so bad this morning. I was just listening to something that really made me think. And it was talking about the life of Christ when he was ministering on the earth. And he did not say, stand back, let me handle this. He said instead, come follow me. And I thought about our call last week when I talked about that our team members will do what we do. So come follow me. Think about that for just a minute, okay? All right. Let's start with some wins. What have been your wins this last week? What has gone well? What needs to be going better? And let's start there. Everybody's always quiet to get started. My wins. Okay, let me share my wins. I have reached out to several of my team members. I'm looking to taproot and reach down to help pull out of the, whatever I want to say, out of the cobwebs, those that have been using the oils for some time, at least months or years, that have not yet hosted a class. And I've actually reached out to them to see about them hosting a class for me. It's been getting out of my comfort zone in a big way, but it's also allowed me to really connect with some more team members. And it's been really fun to talk to them and connect. And so I issued a challenge on promoting a Healer in Every Home page for those who were able to book 4 classes in the month of June with people who had never hosted a class, that there was a giveaway for them. And so I hope that you will consider that. Go back to promoting a Healer in Every Home, take a look at that, and commit to participating in that. But reach down, those of you who have been doing this for a long time. Obviously, Jen, you've not been doing this for a long time, but reach out to those people that are on your front line and ask if they would be willing to host a class for you and help you get into their circle of influence. It's been a really fun endeavor. I talked to somebody last night that I haven't talked to in a very long time. I also talked to a gal that was having significant issue last night, 9:30, quarter to 10, that was having significant health issues in her pregnancy. And I asked her on Facebook Messenger, what doTERRA products are you using? And this is deeply concerning at this time in your pregnancy. You're way too early to be having this. So at any rate, I hope to connect with her after our class today, or after our builder call today, and follow up with her. And I haven't talked with Ashley for a long time. And so watch and listen for those needs in your team that would be really meaningful for you to take time to reach out. I asked you last week to think of people that you might reach out to and to jot those down and listen for those little promptings that say, I need to call so-and-so, and then make it happen today. So I'm going to keep asking you to do that. All right, so those are some wins that I've had. My boys are out of school. It's been a little bit crazy trying to establish a summer routine with effectiveness. And so I'm working on that again. And today I've got several appointments going on. So anyway, all right, your turn. What are your wins? What needs to be going better? And let's chat for a minute.
Well, I had a bachelorette party that I had to go to last week that I was not looking forward to, but we decided to maybe that we would make up like hangover rollers to give out to everybody. We just did the like 5 ml rollers, so they weren't huge. And before we even started, one of the girls had a headache and used it for that. I put peppermint in it and lemon in it. I tried to keep it simple. And then I've had one of them reach out to me like Monday that like it helped so much and she really liked it. And so she wanted to visit a little more. And so we're apparently spending like 5 hours getting ready for the wedding tomorrow. And so I should have like a good opportunity to like check in and visit more with all of them.
Awesome.
So I'm excited to see where that goes.
Well, Sam,
What?
were your rollers received well?
Yes, they were all really excited about them. They like knew what essential oils were, but none of them had a ton of experience with them. And so they like were really excited to try them. And so it seemed to go over really well. We left before I think anybody actually used them because we went home early, but it sounds like they all used them. So
Oh, very good.
I'll be interested to like get a visit with them a little more tomorrow and see. So
Way to share, Sam. That's awesome. Thank you. Who's next? We inspire one another by what's going well and what needs to be going better.
Debbie, we've had a lot of success. Jade just got back from Australia, so she had amazing success there. So I'll just share a little bit about that. She had lots of events. Whenever you travel and have events, it's a great opportunity to get those people out who haven't been out for a long time. So you take advantage of that. It's, a special occasion, and also to add value. There was a fee charged to attend. That kind of makes the event seem valuable, and it is valuable. It just it's easier for people to keep that sort of a commitment when they've paid like $5 or something to attend. There was also raffle tickets, and so she had lots of events, like 30, 40 people come out, and lots of people reactivating, and a lot of excitement and stuff. So, and we could also do something like that, and the money collected paid the travel fees and everything. So it was really good. Idea. What's his name? Jordan Adler says, the question with all your traveling and everything, or whether you're thinking about doing something new, is if you can break even. If you can at least break even, if you're going to go do an expo or traveling or something like that. If you're not breaking even, you might be going backwards. So it was good because a lot of people came out of the woodwork and were kind of reintroduced and stuff. So those were, sorry, Jay's not here. We went to bed, picked him up and came home at 2 a.m. So
Oh, very good.
yeah, so that's some success for us. So a lot of action breeds activity. So an idea, that people on your team could do, we have a few people on our team where they're teaching each other's teams. So they have a special guest speaker. And you might have a topic that you're really good at sharing. You can go teach your someone else's team. Maybe prepare a handout and charge $5 or something like that, and take some extra effort to promote it, because it's always easier to say, "Hey, Sally, I just want to let you know about this new event." It's easier to say about a special event with a traveling person. It's unique. It's one time, so you can't if you miss it, you come again next time. Then to say, "Hey, would you like to come to my weekly class again?" Because you might be teaching lots of weekly classes. If they miss one, they know that you're going to teach them again. So, anyways, great ideas to get people out and re-engaged. A lot of people are wondering, what can I do to improve the engagement on our team? And that's one thing.
Awesome, Ben. I'm glad Jade's back, and I'm glad it's been such a successful month in Australia. I've been seeing pictures of her events, and it looks magnificent. So, very good. All right, who wants to go next?
Okay, I'll go. I have to kind of collect my thoughts because honestly, the last 3 weeks have been such a whirlwind. I'm not sure where I'm at some days. So one fun thing that I did yesterday is I spent the whole day in the Black Hills with one of the gals is on my team already, and then the other one, I think she's going to be on my team soon. And so it was really interesting. And then the third person, she's like sensitive to smell. So it was really funny. So she didn't want to smell any of our oils, but she did let us use I made up a custom bug spray that I took with us because we were up with no cell service way up in the mountains. And so anyway, lots of bugs. And so she did let us use TerraShield on her. So that was kind of fun to be able to expand her horizons.
Very good.
But we were planning a women's retreat in the fall, and they don't attend the same church that I do, but it's for a ladies' retreat for their church. And I one day just felt like really led to call this friend of mine. Her name is Dana also. It's kind of funny, but so I called her and I said, hey, I feel like I'm supposed to call you and I'm supposed to offer to share in some fashion or way with you, because I knew she likes to speak. And so she's been doing that quite often. And she says, well, that's funny. I've been looking for a fourth speaker at our retreat. Maybe you're it. And so she went back to her, like her leadership team, and they all agreed that they would like me to come speak. So I'm going to share faith with essential oils in some fashion. And so I have an hour time slot to share in October. So we've started the planning. So I'm really excited about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of, that's where I don't know how to put it. Like, that's what I want to do at some level on a regular basis, is public speaking. And so I've been trying to get lots of practice in wherever I can, and kind of, refine my skills, because I have a long ways to go.
Very good, Dana. That's awesome. That reminds me, I realized that I had a conflict with our fourth Tuesday back in January. I was asked to speak at a chiropractic's office for talking about essential oils in pregnancy, childbirth, and the newborn. And that's our fourth week, our specialty class this month. So I'm probably going to have to do that earlier in the day. Yeah, I realized that a couple days ago. Like,
or you could delegate. That's always another option.
Very good.
So you stay consistent with your time. You just delegate. Have someone else take your place.
Who wants to teach summer essentials that week on the fourth Tuesday of the month?
Let me look at my calendar. I might be able to do that. I'm pulling it up here. Is that the 25th?
It is the 25th.
Oh, that's our Healthy for Life tour.
Yeah.
And
I might be able to, Debbie. Let me see. June. When is that? June 25th?
It's June 25th, yes.
Okay, let me double check with Johnny, but I might be able to do that.
All right, well, we'll talk more. All right, who else wants to share? Jen, how are you doing?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Really good. I signed up my sister, and so and she's under my daughter. So because Tay's out in San Diego, she can take care of all that family in Southern California for me, and she's a real go-getter. But it's really fun. I know, like you said, I haven't been doing this very long, but it's fun to see that next level start, which was a big. Sometimes just go and look at that tree, because that just makes me happy to see that next level start. And I've got a few more. I had a meeting today, but it got switched to next week. So I got a couple meetings next week, and my calls with Wendy are really motivating. So she just kept saying, what's your calendar? What does your calendar look like? And that's what I go back to. So I go back to my calendar and say, oh, look, my Friday opened up. So what am I doing? So I'm just infant right now, but I'm excited. I'm excited for that next level to get moving.
Very good. That's really exciting, Jen.
One thing, I don't know if this is like the goods and the ones that we're having a hard time with, but how do I let people go? Like, I have people that are stringing me along, but it's been like 2 months, and they can't ever find 1 hour, and even me coming to their house, and it's just to the point where I feel like I need to just let it go. Do you?
Yep, release them. Yep, release them.
Can I answer that?
Please.
Yeah.
I think letting it go is not maybe not the best term, because this is building relationships, right? And you got to realize, like, one of the keys of avoiding awkwardness and making it more natural is realizing the nature of it. This is a funnel. You're going to meet a lot of people. Some people are, maybe you have 10 people, 100 contacts you have coming in. You're going to make friends with all of them. Maybe 50 of them would be interested. 40 of them would come to your classes and everything. So you got to first start with the mindset that, you know what, this is, everybody could use this, but not everybody is ready, willing, or able right now. And so we just got to continue that relationship in some other way, but they're just not ready, willing, and able. But if you could consistently be there and let them know that, hey, I got classes, or add them to your email list. Or you got to ask them permission. Say, would it be okay if I give away free stuff all the time? Would it be okay if I add you to my mail list? Or I send out invitations or information about my local events or online events or whatever. Would it be okay if I add you to that and share with you, what's going on in terms of essential oils, so that you're consistently in front of their face? In fact, this is what Deb Erickson's Monday Mindset call was on. Is you just got to be out there, but you're going to move them from a place on your list of actively following up to kind of passively just maintaining that relationship. Because number one, they're going to give you referrals if they ever run into someone that's interested in essential oils, because they know you're on top of the game. Number two, if they do become ready, willing, or able, they need to have all three of those. Like, if it's just some change in their life that bumps them over the edge, guess who they're going to come to? They're going to come to the person who they have a relationship with. Always, always. They'll go to first the person who is closest to them in that regard, and the person who they feel will support them the most. So if you have like a text list or an email list, or like I have a group of people that I'm following up with that we don't talk about essential oils, but I'm nourishing those relationships because intentional networking is just, moving it out of your mind onto a booklet, a 3-ring binder, or a spreadsheet, something that you can intentionally continue to build your network. So you're constantly going through those people and say, like yesterday, I probably sent out 5 or 6 texts just like, hey, how you doing? Something like that. How's your father doing? Did you get a old folks home set up for him or whatever, you show people you care and everything like that. So not that you move them along or get rid of them, but you just move your focus. I'm not going to intentionally focus on trying to get this person to, because they're just not ready, willing, or able right now. I'm just going to move them into the maintaining relationship group, so that when they are ready, willing, and able, they'll come to me. Because there's so many times in doTERRA where you might put a lot of energy into building a relationship, and then you shut that relationship off because it's just taken too much of your time. But you don't continue those things on, and then that person goes to an essential oil class with someone and signs up with them because that person was front and foremost in their mind. So, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's how I would do it. Debbie, would you agree?
Absolutely. In fact, I'm going to share my screen for a minute and invite you. Well, you can watch my screen for a minute. Because what I wanted to talk about today was the sales guide that doTERRA has. There we are. Okay. This you can find on on doTERRA.com. Okay. It's the doTERRA sales guide. It's got some really fabulous information explaining in a little more detail how we share this business. And I wanted to talk about objections here today. In fact, there's lots that I wanted to talk about today. Maybe I'll talk about this in a minute. Okay, I am going to talk about this. I'm going to get rid of our picture so I can see my screen all the way. So just pipe up if you need to say something, okay? Because I can't see your faces for a moment. As we go through the Live Guide and talk about the wellness lifestyle, and we find out we have them rate themselves on each of these steps, of the wellness lifestyle. And then we ask them, looking at your ratings, which areas need most support? If it comes from them, then they're more likely to act on it. And I thought this was a really great tidbit in the sales guide. Okay. Can we create a 90-day plan together as you look at setting up their loyalty rewards order and scheduling out 3 months worth of loyalty rewards orders? Great little prompt there. So lead with listening, find out what they would, what their needs are, and really reflect what's going on with them.
Debbie, can I ask a question? So on that, when you're going through that portion of the lifestyle overview, and you're, introducing them to the doTERRA wellness pyramid, do you pretty much just ask them to rate themselves in these areas, like out loud? Because sometimes I'm working with people over the phone.
I do.
You do.
I do.
And for some reason, I feel like I have to, it's some kind of mindset or something, but I feel like depends on the person, but I feel like I'm prying.
As their wellness advocate, I need to know what we need to work on together. So if I don't know what their concerns are, I really don't know how to move forward with them and help them.
Well,
I wait for them to rate themselves on a scale of 1 to 10 in each of these areas.
Can I impose a question here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whether you pry or not may not be the question. Maybe the most important question is what's in the best interest of the person you're serving. What's going to make
a great question.
What's going to make the biggest difference in their life? They have needs, you have solutions, and you know that your solutions are better than any other solutions that they have out there. You've got to remove your ego from the picture here and say, I don't care about prying. I don't care about being sticky. I don't care about people thinking horribly about me. What I do care about is people's lives being changed. And it'll just change the paradigm. And that's how you overcome that fear, that concern. Just saying, look, right now at this point, I just want to serve Sally. Help Sally. I don't know why I always use Sally as a help Sally, because she has these problems, and I know that if she could get this concept, it would change her life and her life of her family, her kids, her husband, and everything.
Yeah.
So we'll just say, Sally, let's go through this. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I think, it was with, it was interesting that when I ran across that, it was with my aunts. And, I kind of I found myself not doing what I normally do because it was them, it was just kind of interesting. But like when I had a lifestyle overview yesterday and I went through it with my friend, I kind of already, I already know some of these areas because we've had conversations about it. So we didn't go and have her give me a number, but we already kind of, because we've talked about all of these areas, but okay. No, I think that's good. It's kind of,
I think you know exactly what to do to fix the mindset there. Yeah, you've got.
So I spoke with a naturopathic doctor, Dia. We've talked about this already.
Yes,
on Wednesday night, and really interesting to get her perspective. And only she really gave me just a few minutes of her time. I've been trying to get with her for a couple of weeks. She's out in Nashville, and she just changed her location of her clinic, and so she's been really, really busy. But she gave me a few minutes of her time, and she talked about the belief level in our products. And I'm just going to mention that here later on when we talk about being a product of the products. That's at the very beginning, I think. When we talk about being the product of the products, we have to know our products, and we have to know why we are sharing these products. Okay. Know what you are selling. And so we have to be a product of the products. If we don't know how our products work, then we're not going to have much of a leg to stand on. But this lady said, her name is Julie Montgomery, and what she said was on the wellness lifestyle, the bottom foundation is nutrition. And so if we are not honing in on that nutrition and getting them started, one thing that she does really well, she enrolls on LRP with every single enrollment on the first interaction. 100% of the time, she enrolls with LRP. And she does it by really focusing on the nutritionals as the base foundation of our entire wellness. Sounds like somebody wants to say something. But I loved that concept. And very often we start with an oil kit and then we strive and work diligently to get them on the nutritionals when she says, I work on the nutritionals first. So she always enrolls with either the Cleanse and Renew kit, which is not available right now. So right now she's going to the Healthy Habits kit to get them on the nutritionals. And she tells them you can get your oils for free. Now, this is just an idea, okay? I'm not out there marketing this, but she says you can get your oils for free. Get on the nutritionals, get on the Loyalty Rewards program, get 125 PV on your monthly LRP so that you get a free oil every month of the year. That's 12 free oils in the course of the year. Use your free product credits to buy your oils. And that is her approach. But she talks about that basic wellness. The bottom foundation of our wellness is eating right and nutrition, supplementing with what we need. Another little tidbit that she added in, which was one of her soapboxes, and she made that very evident, was that she says that anybody that works with her stops drinking coffee now. Coffee makes your body really acidic. You're not going to get rid of candida. You're going to be more prone to cancer. And she's a naturopathic doctor. And she says, if you want to work with me, you got to get rid of the acidic intake. And I would suggest that means soda pop, that means sugar, whatever makes our body acidic, we need to consider getting rid of, letting go of, not getting rid of, but more of a letting go, choosing to make a healthier choice. And so that's what she markets as far as getting on the foundation of eating well. When they start feeling better, then they're going to be more likely to exercise, and they're going to automatically start sleeping better when they get out of that acidic environment of that nutritional intake, or the lack of nutrition, but the intake that they're doing. So it was a really interesting conversation where she said, if you work on this bottom foundation, all the rest will fall into place. Interesting thought. You know what? I am going to go through this guide. There's so much goodness here. Any thoughts on that comment from Julie Montgomery? Okay, I'm going to go on then. All right. She talks about selling, or not she, but the guide talks about selling and getting comfortable being a salesperson. And very often we say this thing. Now, I'm just going to point out a couple of things, okay? This sales guide came about largely with a lot of input from people who had been through the Emerge Sales Program and many who had not been through the Emerge Sales Program. I really thought that was a great program. I've marketed to all of you. And in this guide, it's very evident that they're saying there's a more effective way with our language than what Emerge was offering. And so you'll notice a little bit of the Emerge language in here, and you'll notice that the suggestion is for a more effective way, all right? So if we say to somebody, if somebody asks us, what do we do? And we say, I sell oils, really, what does that mean? Many people sell oils. So a more effective way would be, I help women become the best versions of themselves by using natural solutions to improve energy, sleep, and wellness. We have to set ourselves apart. So when we talk about why are we doing this, we are providing a complete wellness lifestyle, not just selling oils. And I've said many times, I'm not about selling a bottle of Breathe. I'm about helping people get on a healthy wellness lifestyle. And that's what I do as a wellness advocate. So getting more clear on what language we use as we share what we do, and then become influencers in their lives and solutions providers, then we have to be really clear on our language and really clear on why we are doing this. Okay, Jen, you have a very powerful story about why you are doing this. And so when we become very clear, it's much more easy to open our mouth. Very often we would say, what do we plan to do? You know, what I typically do is sit down with you one-on-one, talk about essential oils, what they are, where we get them, how we use them, why we would want to, the doTERRA difference, and show you how to get these in your home. Okay. And when we add that phrase, which I have learned and taught and now find a better way, you don't have to buy anything. giving them an out so they break down the walls of putting up walls of don't sell me anything, right? Here's another better way to say that. At the end of the class, I'll show you how to get these oils into your home and help you pick out the very best solution for your family. And then give them the opportunity. Why are we doing this? Why are we sharing this? What's our why for helping them get started with that healthy wellness lifestyle? Introduce the opportunity to buy and leave it at that, okay? So don't give them necessarily the out. Tell them what you're going to do, and then they will see if there's something in it for them. So you would really be helping me if you give me the names of your friends. That's a really awkward thing to say, right? Who do you know that I should be talking to would be a more effective way to communicate that, to seek referrals. So if when we start our classes out, last week I gave the suggestion that when we start our class, if we say during the course of our time together tonight or today, you're going to be thinking of people, names will come to mind of people that you know that would benefit from hearing what you are hearing. I'm going to invite you to write that down. And then if we bring that up again later on in the class, not just at the end, but throughout the class, who's got some names on their list? Who are you thinking of? Write that down, write their names down. Who would benefit from digestive support, who would benefit from respiratory support, write their names down. If we do that, then when we go and ask them, who do you know that I should be talking to, their list has already been started and formulating. And so then we can get into their circle of influence, okay? When people give us objections, last week we talked about feel, felt, and found, and that also is reiterated in the Emerge, and here's a better way. I totally get it. Marie said pretty much the same thing. After understanding everything she can do with the Natural Solutions Kit to help her family, she was excited to get started. So there's a more effective way of sharing, I know how you feel. And Marie said pretty much the same thing, okay? So acknowledging, being empathetic and acknowledging their concern or their objection is going to be really helpful. I love this, let's book an appointment. Instead, say, let's set up a time to visit for a few minutes. I find that comes out from my tongue pretty naturally. Let's sit down one-on-one, okay? Let's set up a time to visit one-on-one. So the phrase booking an appointment can feel like you're going to the dentist. You want to schedule time to visit as you would with friends and family, okay? So I thought this language is really, really helpful. And so you can find this on doTERRA.com. Just type in Sales Guide and it'll come right out and you can download it to your laptop or to your desktop, okay? All right, I want to go to some objections down here that are really well presented and give us something to say as we're working with people. And I find personally, some are different than I am, but I find if you'll give me an idea of what to say, I actually find it much easier to say it, okay? I'm going to come back to this one here. So here's some objections, okay? Now, I want you to think of the common objections you get, okay? In this last week, in fact, I just went to the orthodontist again yesterday, and I had been working with Kim, and her husband said, I'm not going to buy oils. That's snake oil, and it's pathetic. And so there's some really great answers to some of this. This last week also, I had been given a lead by doTERRA that asked to learn more about CPTG. We connected while she was on vacation. She actually responded to me. I have messaged her several times since. She told me to call her the following week on Monday. I have messaged her several times since without any response. And so I just started sending her little links for CPTG, little links to doTERRA, little links about essential oils. And yesterday she finally responded again. She had been researching some oils and decided to go with another company. So she was kind of holding out on me. So you know, my concern, was it an objection? You know, I said, I'm just curious. What did you decide to go with? And then I let her know that I would be here for her should she have questions or concerns, and keep that door open as she considers looking at some other company. And I hope to have, and now I've sent her something to talk about the doTERRA difference, but I hope to have that conversation again with her in the future. I did say to her something I've loved about doTERRA. After using several different brands, being exposed to many dozens of brands, other brands in the last 30 years, I have found doTERRA to be consistent therapeutically. And so that's when I opened the door for her to come back, all right? But why doTERRA oils? I understand why that would be a concern for you. It's confusing to know which brand to buy with so many essential oil companies. Irina had the same concern last week. Can I tell you what I shared with her? I explained that doTERRA is the most tested, the most trusted brand in the industry. 96% of our oils and blends are exclusively grown by artisan farmers in ideal locations for maximum potency. She learned more at source2u.com and was blown away by the doTERRA difference. You and your family deserve the most pure and effective essential oils. Would you like to experience the difference for yourself by ordering today? There's an idea of working with that objection. Okay. Very often money comes up. They're really expensive. Well, they're not really expensive when you take a look at what you get in the long term and what the benefit they provide and how much you're saving by not having to go out and make other choices. I understand why that would be a concern for you. Now, as I look at these responses here in this sales guide, I'm reminded of my son's response recently and when I was struggling with my computer, and he is at a call center and he offers a lot of support, and sometimes he has to say, plug in your computer or turn on your computer. But one of the things he said was he showed empathy. I can understand why that would be so frustrating for you. And I just chuckled because I could hear that training of empathy first. And so here's an idea with the money and an idea with all of these objections. I understand why that would be a concern for you. If I'm hearing you right, you feel like the price of buying a kit is more than you want to invest right now. Is that right? I think we can come up with a solution that works for you. Would you be open to looking at a couple of options to figure this out? Susan said the same thing a few nights ago, but when she added up what she typically spends on personal care products, she realized she could actually save money by switching to doTERRA products. She loves having the Natural Solutions Kit in the house to support her family's health. Are you willing to repurpose your dollars and replace everyday household items with more natural, high-quality doTERRA products? These are obviously some great suggestions. I really believe they need a little bit of practice, saying them over and over, putting them in your own words, so that you know how to respond to these types of objections in a manner that is really efficient and lets you off the hook, releases you of the end result. And when I say release or let go of those that are not moving along in the process, I agree with Ben 100% that you want to maintain an open communication. I have that happen to me every single day. I always look for opportunities throughout the day. I have scheduled into my planner a moment of quiet, a moment of pondering. Who do I need to reach out to? Who do I need to text, message? And yesterday I texted Cindy and said, how's your son doing? And what did you decide about the roller bottles? She had purchased some oils. And then when I got there to help her, she was really standoffish of how to put these roller bottles together. And I was like, just test. She's into muscle testing. And I supported her and listened to her for quite some time, and then texted her again to follow up and say, what did you end up deciding? Did you end up putting those oils together? What did you end up deciding about the Copaiba that she had purchased? So it's finding out where they're coming from is going to be really helpful. Kim's issue with her spouse, as I saw her yesterday, that was really fun. I totally get where you're coming from. You're worried that your husband will not support this purchase. What I said to Kim yesterday was find an opportunity to rub your husband down with some Deep Blue. I find that when men are working really hard in the yard, cleaning up the yard as he was doing, oftentimes they'll have some discomfort. And if you'll take a moment to say, where do you hurt? And add some Deep Blue to their hurt, that's a big seller for men on saying these oils do work. Maybe they're not snake oil. So it brought up a little conversation. I totally get where you're coming from. You're worried that your husband will not support you in this purchase. I've known a lot of people who've had this same concern. Can I share what's worked for them? I found when people experience an oil, they become more open. Would you like to take a sample of Deep Blue home for him to try? And that's exactly what I did with Kim. So at any rate, when people don't see a need for the products, I had a person in my neighborhood who thought, oh, we're not that sick. And what happened in the course of that class was there was a lot of people sharing a big life change with doTERRA. They had been really sick or really struggling with some health concerns, and doTERRA changed that. And she suddenly realized that her health concerns weren't of the same caliber. They weren't that important. And so she backed off and thought, we don't need these because I don't have anything like that going on in my family. And so coming back with something like, I understand. I didn't think I had a need for essential oils at first either. That's not Debbie Gordon's personal story, so I could not say that. But you mentioned in class that you wanted more energy. A few weeks ago, I talked to Whitney, who had the same issue. She tried the Vitality Pack, which gave her more energy and less discomfort. We have a 30-day money-back guarantee with our doTERRA Lifelong Vitality Pack. Will you see if this will change your life in 30 days? And if not, I will help you get your money back. And that would have been a really good thing to bring up with Deb because she didn't feel like she had significant health concerns. But starting with that base foundation of nutrition can be really helpful. Somebody wants to say?
Debbie?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I had a referral that I spoke to yesterday, and she was basically looking for an oil to get an oil for her grandfather who lives in like a U.S. territory near Guam. And when I was kind of trying to kind of talk to her about what kind of needs she had, I kind of got the same type of response. And that, I'm really, she didn't really know much about essential oils at all. And she was, it was kind of just one of those things like, she kind of didn't really have like necessarily a need for herself. And so I kind of just, was trying to kind of jot her memory a little bit about some things. But she did say that she did use supplements and vitamins. And with somebody, when they, they're already saying that, hey, I am doing something, how do you approach that?
I ask them if they feel like it's making a difference. You feel better using them to find out if it's effective. And sometimes they'll say, yes, that's fabulous. doTERRA has a Lifelong Vitality Pack that we see really great results with as well.
Can I pipe in here?
Yes, please.
In the share guide, there's a good solution to this. When you're giving out samples, and we all know that essential oils work differently for different people, and it's not like pharmaceuticals where you got a pain, here's a medication, it works the same for everybody. So you got to prepare people up front to say, look, here's your problem. Let's try this first. If that doesn't work, I got something else. So in the share guide, it gives you three solutions. When you do follow up with them, they'll either have had a good experience, then you invite them to a class, or you invite them to do something else to learn more, further them along in the education. If they've either had a negative experience, now when they have a negative experience, then you've already prepared them beforehand to say, okay, let's try this. So you demonstrate to them that you're in it for them. You're their you're their advocate. You're going to bat for them. They have a problem. They want to hire something to take care of that problem for them, and you're there finding solutions to their problem. And they'll most likely will be willing to let you give as many solutions as possible if they really want to solve this problem. So that's how you would address the negative concerns. The other one is no reaction. It hasn't done anything. It could be negative. You could say, look, let's keep on trying something, or maybe they haven't tried it yet. So if they haven't tried it, you just have to sell them on the idea and ask them if it's important for them to solve this problem. Some people are sick because they want to be sick and they don't necessarily want a solution. So that's why I always ask people, if I give you this sample, will you use it? And you don't really have to ask them if they're buying it, because they won't buy if they're not going to use it. They'll just come up with some other concern or something like that. So I don't know. Does that help answer?
No. Yeah, no, it does. And then you said that those are that's in the share guide.
Yeah. Those three. I'll tell you exactly what page it's in. So the share guide is actually what begins the business training. The build guide does not do any training. It's just all about the business opportunity. But yeah, on page 5 of the sales guide, sampling tips, it has positive experience, negative experience, or didn't try experience. And it has some solutions of how to go about that.
Yeah, because in her case, her grandfather was diagnosed with irritable bowel, and apparently was getting some doTERRA essential oil from somebody, and it was helping him, and they weren't able to get it from that person, somebody who was in Hawaii or something. And this gal that I met this gal on a public transport, and just ended up talking to her and connected her with me. And yeah, so she was just kind of more so, it was like initially just kind of calling for her grandfather. And that was kind of what the need was not for her, but for somebody else. And Ellis, I'm on a phone call right now. Nope, you need to go out right now. Okay, I'm on a phone call right now. So yeah, I mean, and I was trying to, yeah.
It sounds like it's the needs for someone else, but what's her need here?
Exactly. So
she has a need.
Of course she does. Yeah. So as we were kind of talking, and but I liked what Debbie said is, I just couldn't think of anything to ask her around that. I was like, well, that's great. I said, you're better than, most people who aren't, doing anything for themselves.
Yeah.
But I did kind of uncover, as I was just kind of, I said, I just kind of gave her some examples of, how we use essential oils, and, just even in the last day, how I've used essential oils for my family, just to kind of give her some ideas of how you use them. And then I said, some people, have trouble with, sleep issues, or just, have a hard time settling at night, staying asleep. I just kind of went through, tried to kind of, some people deal with allergies. And then she's like, oh, actually, now that you say that, she's like, something for sleep would be helpful. So at this point, it was interesting because I didn't do what I normally do, like, because I went through the Emerge sales training, and that kind of gave me like a framework. But in this situation, it just didn't seem appropriate, because she really knew nothing about oils. She had never had an experience with them. And and she really didn't have a lot of time either. And so it was like, I know what she wanted was to get the peppermint, and we at least uncovered a need. And, she was interested in getting the lavender. I did kind of give her there's 2 ways we can get this for you, and so she knew that there were options on how she could purchase the oils.
Okay.
And then I said, I'd love to, stay connected with you and help you to learn more about how you can incorporate these oils just, into just part of a wellness lifestyle. I said, would you be open to connecting on Facebook, and I can, get you connected into our community. That was what seemed appropriate in this situation. Just, you know what I mean? And I for me, it was, I think, a valuable lesson of just, that each situation is different. Each situation is unique, and having like a one size kind of fits all conversation, sometimes just doesn't make sense.
Yes. Yep.
So it was a good experience. But I was kind of like, okay, this is what I normally do. And then it just wasn't the situation that was working. Right. So,
You don't know whether it was working or not, because
true.
Again, you're not going to convert everybody. And so sometimes we start beating ourselves up when this person doesn't join. What did I do wrong? It's not you. It's that they were not ready, willing, or able.
Yeah.
So
put that blame back on her.
Ready. There's nothing you could have done sometimes.
Yeah, but she was interested, and she was interested in getting the lavender oil for herself. So in that case, I felt that was. I think the thing is, regardless of whether or not she was going to get lavender or not, the mindset around again is just the people who are ready, willing, and able.
Yeah.
And realizing too with what. Gosh, I'm trying to remember her name, who was talking. I think she's off right now, but
Jen?
But anyhow, yeah, what she was saying just around, like, well, when you're working with somebody and you're kind of like, gosh, do I just kind of like give up on this person because they keep dragging me along, and they're just, they're not taking any action towards, we've had a conversation. And, and it's been really helpful for me is to, having that shift in my mindset to be like, it's that whole ready, willing, and able, and either their pain point is not high enough, right, at this time, or or I've had people where it's just financially they're really like the oils,
They're
they
just
want
not
them, they
able.
love them,
Yep.
they're not able to get them right now.
Yep.
And so, and I've just had to let that go. But also I started to make like a list of people, so because that's my thing, is I'm like, sometimes people get forgotten about, and so I don't want to do that. And so trying to figure out a system to kind of keep track of those people.
Yeah.
I mean, I started like a Google Doc, so everyone that I talk to, I have notes of when we talked, and I do it right after I've talked to them. What did we talk about? When did we say the next? When was I going to follow up with them next or reach out to them? And then also making that list of just those ongoing people. Like, I mean, when we were trying to talk about wins, I was like, I couldn't think of anything that I had done this week, and I know that I had done things, right?
Yes.
Just like, and I was like, oh, and then as people were talking, I was like, oh yeah, I had this conversation with this person,
Uh-huh.
and also just looking at that as like, every time I'm interacting with people and I'm meeting new people and I'm getting their phone number and we're making contacts for play dates, just knowing that it's all in that building that relationship, and kind of waiting for that opportunity, or we've had a conversation, but maybe they haven't purchased any oils yet,
Yeah.
because I'm always talking to people. Eventually, at some point, we're going to talk about oils. Like, it's just a given, So,
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
remember well, Deb Erickson still talks about 7 touches. Some people say 23 touches, but remember that we got to plant the seeds again and again and again. If they say no, if they're not ready, willing, and able right now, we go back again and again until they know more.
yeah. And I think that is just, it's really helpful for just knowing that what you are doing, I mean, you're putting yourself out there, and the people who are ready will, and when everything lines up and the time is right, they'll, and if you've done the, because I've had that happen. I've had, people who there's something wasn't lining up for them just yet. And then when the pain point became loud enough, they reached out to me. And because I had built that relationship, and we had the conversations, we had stayed in touch, and it was just kind of waiting for everything to line up. So it's been really helpful for me to have that shift, and knowing that what I am doing does matter, and that it's not necessarily, it has nothing to do with me. And I think it's when you're realizing that it's what's going on with them, it doesn't have anything to do with you.
And give yourself credit for
really
what
helpful.
you are doing. I mean, just making friends is your job. It's like a
yeah, and I really enjoy that. I mean, it's honestly something I feel like I'm good at, and I enjoy, and knowing that, like, because there were times where I felt like I wasn't necessarily working, but now I see that all of those things, it's just a part of what I am and what I do. And it's kind of removed this like perceived pressure of like, and it makes it much more authentic and natural. And I feel like the conversations I'm having are a lot better. Like I had this conversation with this gal at my Pilates class yesterday, and she opened up to me about her daughter who's like 16, and she's like cuts herself, and she's it's just kind of been this big, and I guess she's got really severe ADD, and I just was I was talking to her, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I was like, are you guys open to like alternatives? And she's like, she's like, for a period of time she had been interested in using oils, but she herself was on a bunch of medications, and she's now off of those, and is like, I really haven't revisited essential oils yet, so I just, I was like, I think that they could really, really be helpful for your daughter. And because I know firsthand, like I have family members who have emotional problems, and the oils have been, I mean, just like seriously, like helping you to shift from a state of darkness into light, and helping you literally shift from, I mean, it's amazing, you know.
Yeah.
Frankincense and Melissa is like been honestly a game changer in my family. And so I shared that with her. And she was like, yeah, she's like, we should. And I was like, okay, we need to talk more. So I got her number, and but it was very just like, I woke up that yesterday morning with this, I put this, I follow, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Gabriella Bernstein. She wrote a book called The Universe Has Your Back. Really, really great book. And I had read this email yesterday, and just kind of one of these things that you can kind of do to get yourself in alignment was, how can I truly be helpful today? Or who can I truly be helpful today with? Who can I help? Who can I support? And putting that intention out there, and allowing yourself to kind of be in area of service. And I think that when you're coming from that space, naturally those things or situations where you can be of service, I think is, I don't know, it makes me feel like I'm living on purpose. So
Very good. Very good.
Awesome.
I'm going to go back to this guide for a minute and go through these simple steps that we've just kind of elaborated on a little bit. When we are talking to people and we're getting some objections, or it doesn't seem like they're ready, willing, and able yet, just going through these steps of acknowledging that their concern is valid, expressing empathy. Dia, you do that really well. Summarize the concern in your own words and express empathy. I can understand why that would be a concern for you. If I'm hearing you right, you feel like the price of buying the kit is more than you want to invest right now. Is that right? I totally get it. It's frustrating to be on a tight budget. Asking permission to explore options. I think we can come up with a solution that works for you. Can we brainstorm a little bit to figure this out? Reference a third party's experience and explain how they solved the same challenge. Last week, Susan had the same concern. She hosted a class where she invited 10 people and earned enough to purchase the kit she wanted. She was so excited. And then issuing an invitation. Are you open to inviting your friends over for a class so that we can get you the kit you want? And then Neil Anderson has this, what you just said, Dia. Servant selling is giving without regard to what you will receive in return. Instead of worrying about a sell, you step into their shoes and create value for them. So, yeah, we do have to step back and remember we are the messenger, and we're looking for people that are ready, willing, and able. And when we find them, it's easy, okay? In the meantime, we're building relationships, and we're going through these steps to seek to understand and to put it out there that we are a wellness advocate and we are there for them, okay? That our desire is to help them with their wellness, not get a sell in the process. Actually, that happens naturally by them choosing to spend their money in this way. So thanks for your efforts, Dia, to share. Thanks to all of you for your efforts to share. Okay, this is another really great guide that doTERRA has given us to really help us understand, and there's more to go through on this. But doTERRA has really given us some great information. Okay, so
Debbie, where is the sales guide located?
Okay, hang on a second. Let me show you.
Empowered Success page right next to the launch guide.
Yep, thanks.
Okay, it's next to the launch guide. Okay.
All right, other thoughts? Has it been helpful to go through some of these objections?
Debbie, I have another thought.
One last thought, Dia. Sorry, before it leaves me.
Go ahead.
One thing I've noticed is that when we are getting objections, often they are our same objections. So be careful what you put out there. Be careful the energy that you put out there. Sometimes we prejudge and think, oh, they can't afford this. They're going to get money issues. So be wise with the energy you're putting out there. Go ahead, Dia.
No, I was just gonna ask, and we can wait till maybe either after if it's not right now, but per our conversation regarding, for me, I kind of had an aha when we were talking, and you kind of asked me, what's what do you think is getting in the way of from you getting, you know, to the next level in your business? And what really came to me was I, you know, don't have anybody repeating my efforts, and really not really realizing that I wasn't doing, I mean, you know, knowing that there was a disconnect, but not realizing what it was, and not going through all, like, I didn't realize that you go through every single one of those with everybody, like going through the, you know, lifestyle overview, which I do. And then generally I've only gone over the share guide with people who have expressed an interest in wanting to build a business or wanting to share with other people. But I have not done that and had that been the basis of our next interaction. So I plan on doing that. But I was curious if there's, if on, like, is there, or do you know of any tools where you can actually see somebody who's like going through that, like through the share guide, like a kind of like a, you know, live interaction or like a mock interaction, just to see how people actually go through it?
If you go to the Empower Success page on doTERRA.com and you click on the share guide, scroll down, and you'll have several different videos of people actually doing it.
They do, okay.
Okay, but you'll see somebody actually going through the share guide, and you'll see that with each of the guides.
Okay, and there's something weird that's set up on my phone, and Ben, maybe you know, but when I tried to click on the videos on doTERRA.com, and it's particularly with my phone, it says something like I have some setting or something that's like set on my phone. I don't know. I'll have to look at it, and maybe afterwards, maybe you might have an idea of how to fix it. Because I haven't been able to see the videos for some reason. I don't know what that's about.
Okay.
Yeah, I could walk you through that maybe when we're done here.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Anybody else?
Hey, Debbie, when it comes to the share guide, I'm just looking at doTERRA's website. There's two videos. There's one with Natalie Goddard kind of walking through it, but there's no, like, you don't have an example of, you know, watching someone do this with someone else. There's not really a lot of those kind of
Let's go there for a minute. In fact, Ben, you want to bring it up? Are you there? Are you on that page?
I am.
Yeah.
And then there's the other video is the global launch when they first launched the Empowered Success. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, we can.
So those are the two videos, and there's a link here for more videos. I wonder if that has, yeah. So I don't know. You can go through this, but quite frankly, even if you don't have a video of someone walking someone else through the share guide, you can pretty much get the gist of it from Natalie Goddard. And actually, the best way for you to learn this is to practice it. And if you just go page by page, I think on my website I do the same thing, you know, that the video does right here. Just page by page, you know, what we're doing on what this is talking about, and here's the guide itself. You know, this first one, really important conversation. Why are you wanting to host a class with me? Is it because you just, you know, you have altruistic motives? Is it because I've offered you a gift? Is it because you want to start doing doTERRA as a business? It doesn't matter where they start, but if you get an idea of, you know, what they want out of this, start listing out their friends. And then the first thing is like, okay, so what do we say to people? There's some verbiage here that they can, I mean, some people have this concern. They come back to me and they say, how do you bring the conversation over to essential oils? Well, you be a user yourself, and you look out for problems that they have that you have solutions to. So you go talk to people and you let them do all the talking. You know, ask them a lot of questions, and those issues will come up. You see a solution, and then you can share with them. So it's a very short guide, very easy to go through. But if you just sit there and fumble through it a few times, you'll get better and better. And we go over this in our team training as well. And I don't know if you have anybody personally mentoring you, but you know, if you have anybody to watch you or do some role playing and stuff like that. But yeah, those are the only 2 videos you see on doTERRA's page there. I actually don't know what kind of videos. I have some videos on the share guide. I'm not sure which ones, but I've got some training on that as well, but not the video that you're looking for.
Yeah, no, but it looks like there's a ton more stuff that I didn't even know was here.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like I have all these the modules and stuff. Like I don't know when they put this out here, but I didn't even the launcher
months
doTERRA
ago
business
they did
all that.
the launch one, and now they've leadership retreat. They added all the share guide videos and everything. So
Oh,
the thing
cool.
is,
That's
they
awesome.
add stuff. They add stuff
all
here.
the time.
they don't tell us that they're adding stuff.
Yeah.
But there's also this tools library is constantly growing. I'm going in here.
Oh.
Whenever I go to print something out, I go get the original, because like the other day I was going to show you, this is how I keep track of a lot of my people. I have the spreadsheet, right? And I have a list, and I also have this where, you know, I'm using the success tracker here, and then here's all my new members, the Start Strong list, and then you've got the same sort of checklist for builders out here, and
We're not seeing. We're not. Are you?
I'm just holding it up right here. I have them little video.
Unshare your screen. So we
Well,
can
let me share with you where to get those first.
Okay, so they're sheets that you print out from this area that you use and put them in a folder.
There we go. Start Strong checklist and your new builder checklist. So there you go.
Oh.
Print that out.
Okay.
Poke holes in it. Put it in your folder. Write the name, what kit they had, and tick all these boxes every 60, 90 days. You know, sometimes whenever I hear a promise that we're going to connect in the future, I have to put it in my calendar. So like, oh yeah, let's get together in a month or so. I'm like, I open my calendar, I put in an appointment, get together with so-and-so. If that appointment comes and, you know, I'm like, this is not a good time, at least it triggers something. You have to have something trigger something. You might say, hey Siri, schedule it a blah, 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 and she'll do it for you. There's the
well, this is cool. So that's to keep track of what steps you've done. In the new customer.
Sometimes it's good to have something physical, so you can pull out. You're paging through the pages. You're flipping through the pages, and even though the Start Strong is for new builders, you could use this for
is it? It's just for builders. Okay.
No, sorry. This is for new customers. Sorry, I misspoke. This Start Strong is for new customers. The new builders is for new builders. But that's
cool.
You could do this. I also have on the next page, I have wellness consults printed out. So I have some wellness consults in my book, and I have also success check-ins for my builders as well. So I can just go through with this. I require them to fill this in before I'll meet with them. If they can't take the time to fill this in, I can't take the time to meet with them. They're building their own business. I'm not building it for them. It's a bit of tough love, but that's exactly what they need. So there's my wellness consults. Sometimes I'll just get this out and I'll fill it out for them. Always just take a picture before because you're going to leave this with them, but take a picture so you know what you spoke about. You can also fill this out with Adobe on your computer. Do you guys know how to do that?
But the wellness consult is, I thought that the Live Guide kind of replaced that. Oh, okay, so that's just the one. It's
just page 16 of the Live Guide that I've printed out.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just pull up one of those really quick.
Yeah. And you could fill this out on your computer using Adobe, just form fill. Or you can write it out. Here's your concerns. Here's what I'm recommending to you. Here's how you use it. So, but that's an excellent way to go back to the people who signed up a long time ago. You know, when you get all these things going and you have your list, there should be a time of your day where you're going through your list. You know, you're answering those questions all the time. Who am I going to help with this, that, or the other? And, I think you'll find that once you get your list all out there and you're asking people for referrals, your work will never end. It's when we get to the point where we're not consistently adding to your list, or we're not tracking it or recording it, where we can go back and I'm working with these names, these people, and everything like that. That's when it gets to a point where your business goes stale because you have no new blood coming in or no purpose. It's all about people. So you got to maintain and manage that list of people. I think it was Eric Worre was saying that the number one asset in your network marketing business is you, right? And the number two asset is your Rolodex, which is your contact list. So that's how you do that. As far as the questions that you're answering every day, here under Success Schedule, you're asking yourself, who needs a Natural Solutions intro class? So those are the prospects that you're going, you have a list of prospects, you give someone a sample, you immediately write it down, or just say, hey Siri, remind me to record this sample, or whatever is easiest for you to do. That's the system that you're going to use. And then, so you write down the name so you can go follow up with them and plan to follow up and go through your list often. Who needs a follow-up to enroll? So someone who has come to one of your events that just needs you to follow up. Sometimes it's difficult to continue to follow up with these people when they're not moving along. And then you just got to move them to the friend pile, friend zone them, and just say, hey, how's your grandfather doing? I remember you were telling me that he was having these problems and everything. And it's like I'm listening to the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. If you just take a sincere interest in people's lives and let them feel important, sometimes they'll just come back to you and say, hey, I need to buy some oils. Can you help me? So anyways, those are the 4 questions. Who needs a lifestyle overview, business overview, and who needs to host a class? Oh, sorry, I'm talking too much.
Thank you, Ben. That was awesome.
Here's the booklet. Just get a 3-ring binder. I buy these for my people that come to my classes so that they can keep track of all the little papers I have them. 88 cents at Walmart. Then they can fold up and they can put them in some purse or whatever. But there you go. Just poke a bunch of holes in these things to print out, and get yourself a system and start taking care of that number 2 asset is your list, I guess. Great way to follow up with people and just love on them. So I've got a page dedicated to you.
Very good.
I'm not perfect about it, but I'm getting there.
Very good. Thank you for helping us look at an organizational benefit.
And I can help you with your technology after the call.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and end the call as planned, and we can stay on to answer questions. Okay. I do need to take off here in just a few minutes. I've got a one-on-one scheduled soon. All right. So thank you for joining us. Any last minute comments, questions before we end the recording? All righty. I'm going to end the recording.